Hey, I'm Chante Jacobs. I'm a director, a DP, also known as a director of photography, as well as an editor. You're now tuned in to Next Level Learning. Going back to when I was younger, about middle school, I honestly thought I was going to be an architect. But then I was good in math and everything like that, but then I realized how much I hated it. So I ended up going towards graphic design when I was in college. Once I graduated, I ended up going towards graphic design, but due to a knee injury, once I left my junior college and ended up finishing my last 2 years, I actually did sports administration. After graduation, I did nothing in that field due to just having to get a job and just the recession and everything going on around when I graduated. Slowly but surely through the years, I was working in a bakery and I just saw it as a dead end. So I actually produced music as well. That's what I was doing since I was about 14 years old. And I just knew I was going to be a producer until one day I felt like I wanted someone to document the process of me and my production team. But at the time, we couldn't pay anyone. So I went out and I bought a camera. So from there, I just said I was going to be the one to document the process of how it was like for us in the studio. But then once I started doing it myself, I realized that I had a passion for creating and doing visuals, and I eventually wanted to start getting into making films and, learning that process. So from there, I just began learning any and everything I could about a camera. So the very first camera that I purchased was a Canon T5. Most people start off with even the T5i that had the flip screen. My camera, the T5, no flip screen at all. So I thought I was going to be vlogging and stuff, which I still vlog, but it was hard to vlog without a screen to flip out where you could see yourself and see what was going on. I started off with the kit lenses, so I used to wonder how come, why my videos didn't look like what I would see on YouTube at the time. And it's just everything. I just went out and I just started filming stuff. Because what I tell people now is like, you just got to go. You just got to start. Once you start, then you'll learn from there. Once I started, I think I went to a friend of mine that he was doing music at the time, heavy. And I just went to him because we grew up together and I was like, hey, let me shoot a music video for you. Didn't know what I was doing. Just went off of videos that I had watched back in the day on TV, videos that I see on YouTube, and just started filming. My first music video actually wasn't bad, but when I look back at it now, it's slow motion because I didn't know how to work the camera. I didn't know how to go from 24 frames to 60 frames and get that smooth slow motion. It looked terrible. So I cringe when I watch it, but I just started looking on YouTube. I went to YouTube University. Like, I didn't go to school for film or anything. I just went to YouTube University and I started watching one of my good friends, Creative Ryan. I watched every video I saw that he had. I would be at work on lunch doing it, like watching it. I would take my laptop to work just so I could work on editing footage once I watched videos of him. And then from there, I took the time and I just tried to learn any and everything about that camera as well as just the video world, each and every day. The first time that I kind of clicked in my mind that I was like, I gotta find a way to quit my job, it was some years prior to me actually doing it. Because in the beginning, I couldn't see myself, or I hadn't learned how to manifest things, and I couldn't see myself in the position that I am now. I was going to work. I had a pretty good job by certain standards of, what other people may consider as far as the amount of money that I was getting paid an hour, but I just didn't love it. There was no room for growth, and I was going to be pretty much stuck in the same position for the next 30 years had I stayed there. From there, I just, continued to learn everything about the camera. I started noticing my work getting better and better. I started noticing certain people seeing my work and telling me, hey, you're dope. And I kind of struggle with some people say I'm too humble, but I just like to always grow and just, I think my work is good. I always think it is, but I guess some people say I never think it's good enough. But from there, just once I started seeing myself and moving around in certain rooms with certain people, I started getting a lot of jobs. And at the time, like I said, I was working a full-time, 40-plus hour job. And I actually started taking off of work without getting in trouble because I had FMLA. So I was like, that's when I started to believe that I could make it possible. I just had to use my FMLA in a way to make it work for myself. So I said, hey, if I'm taking a job where it's gonna bring me more than I will make in that day at work, I'm going. So then I just started doing that back to back on days. If I felt like I could make the gig and still make it to work, I would do that, just trying to stack as much money as possible. I transitioned from that job actually in the end of 2017. Actually took a leave of absence from it because I went to the HR office and I told them, some stuff that had to do with what I had FMLA for. But he kind of told me without telling me. He said, "Hey, you call off FMLA 2 weeks in a row. Basically, you're gonna be on short-term leave." So I did what I had to do. I used it, and then I ended up working for Icebox, the jewelry company here in Atlanta. They needed a full-time videographer, so I figured that would have been an opportunity for me to transition from working in a bakery to doing, just as a stepping stone to doing what I want to do for myself full-time. So from there, I was at Icebox for about 8 months. I ended up taking a vacation out to Aruba, and it just hit me when I was in Aruba. I literally just woke up one day, and I just felt like I heard God tell me the time is now. Because I had started becoming uncomfortable at Icebox as well, like just as far as things, it felt like everything was going wrong. It seemed like everything we talked about in the beginning there wasn't what it, was turning out to be. So when I was in Aruba, it just, like I said, it felt like I heard God talking to me, and felt like He said the time was now. So I said, when I go back, I let them know. I sent them an email then that I had ended up getting a job with an artist, which I did, but I only worked with that artist for a couple of months. But I let them know I had got a job with the artist, and they wanted me to start right then and there when I got back. So I sent them an email. When I got back, I took 3 days and finished up any loose end projects that I had with them, and I just was out here full time in it. Jumping straight into entrepreneurship, especially if you talk to people and they tell you, hey, it's this way, or you got to deal with this. Everything, just kind of like a lot of things, once you don't really understand it until you're in it. So once I took that leap and I got into entrepreneurship full time for myself, I realized you really got to be tough. You really got to, you may have your down days, you may have your up days. Like you may have weeks and months where your phone is ringing off the hook. You may have weeks and months where everything is slow. Even like now, it's still something you go through. Even with COVID, my entire year of 2020 has been busy. But as soon as December hit, things have been slow. But that's just when you got to start learning how to plan, balance, save your money, look into, your personal retirement funds and everything, and just become very diligent with your funds. Become very diligent with marketing. Become very diligent with make sure you're posting your content to attract clients. I honestly don't feel like I would do anything different. I just came to a realization that I honestly kind of always was doing what I wanted to do, because I do photography as well still. So I always had a camera, even if it was a little digital camera to, when we still had the film cameras, even though they bring those back. But I always had a camera, and I was always one of those people that would take the pictures and document the moments. And I actually got that from my mom. I realize it now because we have a bunch of photo albums. My mom has 1 million photos from everything, and she's that person, people would steal pictures from her because she's the only person taking pictures during those moments. And they would come over and go, "Oh, where did you get this picture from?" And realizing that, hey, she took pictures and she enjoyed the moment so we could have those memories. I picked up on that from her, and now friends that I have from high school still, we may get together and they may come over and they may see that I have pictures from our senior year of high school. I was doing that, and I just realized now that from all along, I was doing what I love. I just had to really find it, be reintroduced to it, and then just go full-fledged for it.